Back again for another video. So, on this video, I'm going to talk about, I'm a little tired, bad, but on this video, I'm going to talk about polygamy. It's one of my favorite subjects. The reason why is because it is different than the norm. The reason why I find interest in this is because I'm always interested in different ways to go about doing something. And that something just happened to be relationships. I didn't want to. Let me give a little bit of backstory. For a very long time, I've been, I guess you can say, polygamous. Just didn't want to admit it, and I tried to conform to social norms, social pressures, what was expected of me as a quote unquote good man, which I'll talk about later on in another video. But so it became a thing for me. So not only was it biological that I desired more than just one woman. For the most part, it became a social interest of mine. So I started looking at the different aspects of how polygamy works, where it came from, how long it's been around, why it exists. I started to really research it, and I came across a lot of information. I'm actually going to link just a brief article that I found online that mentions what I'm going to talk about, because I'm not going to talk about polygamy in its form that you guys believe. I'm going to talk about it in a different aspect, because once again, this is a fundamental, because majority of humans actually engage in polygamy. Oh, shocker. What a shocker that most humans engage in polygamy. Wow, that is a hard pill to swallow for a lot of people. But as you know, there are different styles of polygamy. Or you may not know this, but there are different styles of polygamy. There are polygamy where a man has more than one woman, which is polygyny. And there is another where a woman has more than one man. This is polyamory. Or excuse me, not polyamory. What is it called? This is called, I forget the other one. I'm never really concerned about that one because it doesn't work. The reason why it doesn't work is because a woman cannot be pregnant with more than one child at a time. A woman, once again, is a vessel. She is like a one-seater car to me. If you try to put you can put two people in a one-seater car, but it's really uncomfortable and it's dangerous. There's only one steering wheel. I mean, it doesn't work out. But anyways, what I'm going to talk about is the other side of polygamy. People don't understand from a sociology standpoint. There is a term, and I've said this plenty of times to plenty of people, but there is a term called effective polygamy. You can look it up yourself, you can research it. It's essentially how we got here, for the most part. People have been doing studies on the human genome for a very long time. And they went back in history and they looked at the human genome and they can see the diversity in it. And what they come to find is that one woman had a child by one man, usually sometimes. But there is also oftentimes where a woman would have multiple children by multiple men, which is fairly 50-50, from my understanding. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. But why this is so is because this is how we get our genetic diversity. Women have 2 X chromosomes, men have an X and Y chromosome. So men are only able to pass along so much information to women because they can't accept the Y chromosome. Well, they can. I won't get into it. I'll let somebody else explain that. I need to brush up on my biology. Excuse me. But that's simply how it goes. What the problem is that we are now entering in a social age where it is not socially acceptable for the promotion of diversity in genes, which is bad. That's the reason why a lot of diseases pop up that are biological in nature, they're neurological in nature. You have a higher predisposition for cancers, Alzheimer's, all these things. If the lower you are on the totem pole when it comes to genetic diversity. But here's one thing I know for certain. You cannot unsocialize biology. You can't. You can stave it off. You can put in, what do you call it? Positive and negative punishment to reinforce certain behaviors or cause certain behaviors to become extinct. But you cannot unsocialize biology. It's not possible, because this is the driving mechanism for what we are and why we are. With that said, there are a lot of things that are going on within a lot of communities across the world, and we see women having children by multiple men. I would say that this is normal. According to, like I said, our history as biological beings, as human beings, and what our genetics say. One thing people don't understand when it comes to this whole polygamy thing is that polygamy has been around for hundreds of thousands of years. It's been around for it's been around longer than civilization. I'll put it that way. So this isn't nothing new. People are acting like, oh my God, it's crazy. No. This is nothing new. The social aspect of trying to put in a right or wrong moralistic value to it is pretty new. But humans having multiple partners isn't new at all. Matter of fact, you who are watching this video probably engaged in such. Like I said, the term affective polygamy. Affective polygamy is pretty much where you have sex with anyone other than the first person that you had sex with. You are excluded from being a monogamous being if you have more than one sex partner in your lifetime. Don't believe me? Look it up. Monogamy simply implies that you or an individual is a person who has a relationship on top of which they have sex with this one person through life. Mating for life, relationship for life equals monogamy. Anything other than that definition is not monogamy. You're all polygamists. Believe me. Like I said, look into it. It is very, I believe it is very necessary for the human race. But us as human beings, we have to operate in a higher consciousness than what our biology is telling us, because that can lead to disastrous effects when it comes to our civilization, because it is one that is structured, and unchecked, unbalanced, effective polygamy will crumble a civilization. We've seen it before. And it'll put hardship on the people in the vicinity of which the rates are higher than others. But there is a way to do this properly. You could just have a relationship with more than one person. As a man, I don't suggest this for women. It has very bad effects on you guys. I don't know. Nobody knows exactly why. There's a lot of speculation But research says that that's a no-go. So I wouldn't suggest it for women at all. From a I wouldn't even say from a moral standpoint, but just from a pragmatic standpoint. I mean, I've seen women who had a lot of sex partners and they are batshit crazy. Though I haven't seen every woman who's had a lot of partners. So I can't say empirically that this is a for certain thing, but what I can say is that there are studies that have been done that point to such being true. That a woman having more than multiple partners throughout her lifetime will degrade her stability in the reality. But anyways, for the men, here's how I see it. Men and women have natures. We have our own individual nature. And women's nature is always on display, is socially accepted, and it is even promoted by both men and women. You know, the problem with this is that there is an imbalance when it comes to that same criteria being met when it comes to male's nature. Our nature is to push civilization forward within the realm that we can do so. And that goes back to the genetic diversity thing. This is all biological. You cannot unsocialize biology. It's not possible. This is the reason why these women get into relationships and they believe, oh, well, this is a monogamous man, quote unquote. Once again, I explain to you what monogamy is. This is a monogamous man and everything will work out, and little do you know, he's having sex with somebody else on the side. Many women can attest to this. This is what I don't understand. Many women can attest to this. Most of the guys that they've been with throughout their life have done similar things. Mind you, this is very dishonorable on the man's side of it. But once again, this is the consequence of trying to unsocialize biology. There is almost a catch-22, because eventually a man is going to get, most men, not all men, there are some monogamous men out there. Nothing is an absolute, once again, so don't get me wrong. You may have some examples, but generally speaking, most men want to have sex with multiple women. The sooner civilization and the social aspect, the social narrative accepts that as being true, the better we'll get along. And this all starts with the women. Actually, let me take that back. It starts with the men being honest with themselves. Being honest and upfront to say to a woman, this is who I am. Do you accept it or not? Matter of fact, you don't even have to move that way as a man. You can approach the woman with the situation, and if she's with it, bye. You don't have to have any conversation. You don't owe anybody anything. Especially if you're not even in a committed relationship. You definitely don't owe anybody an explanation. But if you want to be a man who is, upfront, I would suggest telling women the truth about your nature. They don't have any problem telling you the truth about their nature. So why not be upfront and honest about it? We all engage in most humans engage in effective polygamy. That's a fact. You can't get around it. That is a fact. Therefore, why lie about it? Why lie? Men and women, why lie about it? I'm not saying for you to be out here willy-nilly doing whatever you want, just due to the fact that this is an inevitable thing, because you do have to have some chastity about yourself, men and women. Because once again, too much of anything done the wrong way is what causes the crumbling of a civilization. I just said that. It has to be done correctly. So there are many ways to do this. There are many ways to go about it, but I'm not going to get into it in this video. It's already long enough. So that's just my take on polygamy versus monogamy. This is my take on most everyone being a polygamist in some way, shape, or form. And this is my take on female and male nature. Overall topic, my view on polygamy. But anyways, this has been a Wolf in Beta Clothes. I'll catch you guys on the next one. May you have a good day, and peace be with you.